Hey there guys, Fireman Official here, and welcome to this Age of Empires 4 video, and today we're going to recap some things revealed and that I learned in the recent showmatch between the Holy Roman Empire and the English Civilization. This showmatch was revealed by the developers of the game and amazingly casted by Zero Empires. In this video we'll cover 4 different sections. We're going to look at general points, points specific to the Holy Roman Empire and then the English Civilization, and we'll finish up with some frequently asked questions. So let's get right into the general points that I picked up on. First of all, we're going to take a look at stealth forests. Now I found this really interesting as a mechanic and part of the game, where the units within the forest have a small line of sight, and units outside the forest can't really see well within the forest. This is with the exception of the scout, which has a pretty good line of sight within or outside the stealth forests. Now coming from Age of Empires 2, this is definitely something new and very interesting. Second of all, any unit that is garrisoned in a building adds an extra arrow of attack, but an outpost by default doesn't fire any arrows. Now this is of course very different to Age of Empires 2 as well, where we're used to having the towers firing arrows. Next up, we have some reminders about sacred sites. Capturing one gives you 100 gold per minute, and capturing all 3 in a map starts a counter that can act as a win condition for the game. I came across the unit, the culverin, for the first time in this showmatch, and it looks to be a really important unit. It was described as a really effective anti-siege unit with a whopping 200 bonus damage versus siege. Now stacking this up with its base attack, that's 285 damage per shot. We also learned a bit about formations, and 3 in particular. The line formation was discussed as being a good formation for defending against cavalry charges. We then saw the wedge formation, which was mentioned as being a good formation to use when charging with cavalry. And thirdly, we saw the staggered formation, which was shown to be a good formation for archers and longbowmen to help reduce damage taken from mangonels. We also saw the hand cannon unit in Imperial Age, being extremely powerful at 42 damage, and when you compare that to an archer's 10 damage, we see the big difference. Last of all, we saw some differences being highlighted between palisade walls and stone walls. We saw how the palisades are quite weak and they can be attacked by most units. Stone walls, however, are harder to take down, which you'd kind of expect with how much health they have. They can't be taken down just by units, they need to be taken down by siege, and units can also stand on top of stone walls, giving the units extra range and enable them to have a bonus of taking reduced damage. So in this part of the video, we're just going to comment on some of the small things that were showcased and things that I found particularly interesting in the showmatch. Now I'd love for you guys to drop a comment in the comment section below of this video to let me know which civilization do you guys prefer, the Holy Roman Empire or the English Civilization. Now what I would say is that this section of the video is not meant to be exhaustive, it's not going to cover huge amounts of the civilizations. I've actually got dedicated videos of that. I've got a dedicated video on all the civilizations in fact in Age of Empires 4. If you'd like to check out those videos, do check out the YouTube playlist, but if you actually watch till the end of this video, I'll be able to link you directly to both these civilization guides that I've got for the Holy Roman Empire and the English Civilization. So let's take a look at the Holy Roman Empire and some of the things that were showcased. So first of all, I found quite interesting that the Holy Roman Empire can make emergency repairs to their buildings within the range of influence. Now using this special ability for the Holy Roman Empire enables buildings to repair themselves by 150 health every 1 second for 20 seconds. We also saw that the emergency repairs tech, whilst it only affects buildings within the range of influence, this range can actually be extended by buildings, even if they're not actually fully complete. We also saw the regnitz cathedral landmark, which gives you extra gold per relic, and it can be a huge boost for the player if the game goes deep into what we call the post-imperial age. Another landmark which we saw from the Holy Roman Empire was the Palace of Swabia, which not only costs 20% less to build, but also acts as a town centre, producing villagers 75% faster and 75% cheaper. I can't help but think this would really help with the fast Imperial Age strategy perhaps, but I guess we'll just have to wait until the game comes out and we can have more time to test it out. Now it really wouldn't be right to talk about the Holy Roman Empire and not at least mentioning the landsknecht. What's really impressive about this unit is its attack. It's got a 19 base melee attack. However, it does come at a cost because it only has 80 hit points and only 2 melee armor and 2 ranged armor. To compare this to, for instance, a man-at-arms in its similar category, a man-at-arms, whilst it has a lower attack at 14 melee attack, it does have a significantly higher HP at 155 hit points. It also has significantly higher armor with 6 melee armor and 6 ranged armor. So it seems with the landsknecht, if you can get in there and get some hits away, it can be super strong, but you will have to keep them protected. Now of course, as mentioned earlier, this is only a brief look into the civilizations. If you wanted a bit of a deeper dive, check out the video I've got specifically on the Holy Roman Empire, and I'll leave a link to that at the end of the video. But for now, let's move on to the English Civilization. Okay, so there are some interesting things to discuss about the English civilization that I found from this particular show match. Now, an obvious place to start is of course talking about their unique unit, the longbowmen. They can be produced really fast from the council hall, which is one of the landmarks taking the English civilization to the feudal age. They have a higher base attack as well as a larger attack range compared to regular archers, and they also have the ability to construct palings. These palings can cause enemy cavalry to be stunned for 2.5 seconds and dishes out 25 damage as well. However, in order to compensate for all of this, the longbowmen don't have the ability to wield torches, and so they won't be very good at taking down buildings, for example outposts. Also, they are significantly slower in their mobility compared to regular archers, so you'll need to keep them protected. Speaking of mobility, one of the natural counters to the longbowmen are horsemen, which have an extra 9 attack bonus damage against ranged units, as well as 1 armor versus ranged units. Not to mention that they will of course be able to chase down any longbowmen that are trying to make a run for it. The English also have some really good eco bonuses. In particular, we saw their farming bonuses being put to good use. The English have a farming rate for farms placed around the mill that increases through the ages, starting at an additional 15% and subsequently increasing by 5% each age. As you can imagine, this immediately appeals to me, and I think this is an absolutely fantastic bonus. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the Imperial Age landmark, the Berkshire Palace. We saw a huge fight in the middle of the map for one of the players to get this landmark built, and it gave a lot of map control once it did go up, because it has a bonus of having 50% greater weapon range and double the number of arrow slits. It's a massive defensive fortification for the English civilization. So we also got a chance to ask the developers some questions. The first question was, does the type of unit being garrisoned affect the arrows from the building? The answer was, any unit can be garrisoned into a garrisonable building, except siege, and the damage is the same regardless of the unit type, and each unit adds 1 extra arrow. The next question was, will we have access to custom maps and mod support? The answer was yes, but not right away. It's planned to be up and running in 2022. The next question was, do farms ever expire? The answer was, nope, they never expire. Can wood run out? Yes, absolutely. So expanding your base is important, and a good way to secure other parts of the map will be with outposts, keeps, and stone walls. Is there a high ground advantage? Yes, but only vision bonuses. This bonus does extend to buildings built on elevated grounds. There is no damage or range bonus however by being on elevated ground. There's a vision penalty if looking uphill and a vision bonus when looking downhill. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick summary of the interesting things we saw in the show match between the Holy Roman Empire and the English civilization earlier this week. So, which civilization do you think you'll like to play the most? The Holy Roman Empire or the English? Let me know in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, it would be amazing if you could give it a like. It really helps the channel, and consider subscribing to the channel if you'd like to see more content like this. But otherwise, if you wanted to see a more thorough breakdown of the English civilization, why not click on the right end card screen now? And if you wanted to see the Holy Roman Empire breakdown, click on the left end card screen now. Take care guys, and have a great day.